Hi there. Hi, and good evening. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, single moms, or normal moms, celebrating Happy Mother's Day today. It's. I was talking to a couple of my friends who are single moms or single parents, to kind of to congratulate maybe the kind of grind parenting is all about, and then kind of share the ups and downs that we go through being single moms and single parents. But hey there, I think it requires tigers and lionesses to kind of do what we do. So congratulations to all moms for really doing a job that is sometimes, most times, how do I call it? Uh, a thankless job. Because everyone takes mothers for granted. We also do, and we've done the same thing too. So, time to kind of retrace our steps back and to kind of really understand what women really do, as parents and moms, and to say thank you so much, with love and gratitude for all that our mothers do for us, including our fathers too. So, to all moms out there, a happy Mums Day, and I'm so glad that I'm back to Kuala Lumpur from a very short and quick trip to Cambodia. I went there to see my daughter and spend time with her, and and get the mom daughter kind of things sorted out and stuff like that. Cambodia was hot as hell, but as my friends say, that I brought the monsoon with them, kind of the monsoon, because it just rained and rained non-stop. I think for at least 4 days that I was in Cambodia. I met some new friends. Naturally, I went eating out and trying out local cuisine. I've made some really good, kind of reviews on my Instagram handle at Ethel Da Costa about 4 places or 4 restaurants that I recommend. If you go to Cambodia, especially to Phnom Penh, go to BKK1 and find these restaurants and eat to your heart's content. So that was Cambodia, and then I was back in Malaysia. So welcome to this edition of Heart to Heart with Ethel Da Costa. The Heart to Heart is in association with the Mac Clinic, which is Malaysia's premier luxury aesthetic institution. And I'm so thankful to Dr. Hugh's team, and of course Dr. Hugh, who will join us very soon in the show, for their continued faith in Heart to Heart and taking it along the way. And help me also kind of curate some fantastic guests that I bring onto the show every Sunday, and have great conversations that I love talking about, and I like to hear their perspective too. So this Sunday, on today's edition of Heart to Heart, I have these two very talented ladies who I met in Malaysia. Like how the introduction mentions, UMA RAVI has been there, seen it all of the corporate life, and then jumped ship and became an entrepreneur. And she will share her whole journey on what that shift has been to her, what she has created, and where all she's taking her brand forward. You will also meet STANA FERRARI, who's a life coach. I met her at another event in Kuala Lumpur called Future Females, and we kind of really hit it well and got on fabulously. Shared about basically the entire trials and tribulations of women entrepreneurs, what they go through. I met some very interesting other people too, and she will also be here to join us and share this entire journey. And today's topic being the present is what we call the present is the future. It is the stepping stone or the foundation that you lay for future women leadership. And who better than to have UMA RAVI, the founder of RAWGANICS, and STANA FERRARI, to talk about her work as a life coach, especially in terms of coaching women. So without any further ado, let me just welcome you all as you find my page and you come on to my FB page, Ethel Da Costa, and join us. We will have my audience is also joining in from India and Malaysia, and I always love to hear their comments and share their feedback when they join us and we start chit chatting. So let me just get Uma, who is right now with me backstage here, and take the conversation forward. Uma, are you here? There you are.
Hi, Ethel. How are you?
I'm great. Good evening, Uma, and welcome to Heart to Heart.
Thank you so much. Happy Mother's Day to you.
Happy Mother's Day to you too.
Thank you. Lovely to be here today. I've always
Yes,
watched your show and I've loved your conversations.
thank you.
Yeah, they've been pretty raw. Love the candid conversations, the heart to heart conversations that you've had. So it's a real pleasure being here.
Thank you, Uma, and thank you for having, for being with me on the hot seat, as I call it. The hot seat also gets hot after some time, but that's fine. It's all, it's all part of the conversations that we have, because I'm sure you agree with me that soul conversations,
Yeah,
leadership, which is about soul,
yeah, yeah,
getting behind the face of it all,
yeah,
and really, really, walk the talk, and talk the
yeah.
talk, as we say it, right? Through example.
Yeah, it's not always about sounding pretty and having the right words.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's
absolutely.
it's about it's about sometimes calling it as it is.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
also, the need to be politically correct all the time. I
yeah.
think that gets boring after some time.
Yeah, well, I think also the consumers and especially the young generation, right? They
Yes,
are they are recognizing a lot of hard truth, and I think people no longer want to hear what is sugar coated.
yes, absolutely right. And
So it has to be. I mean, people are learned, women are learned, and nobody buys that anymore.
yes,
So
not anymore. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And
yeah,
that's why, Uma, I had to have you here, because as I said, you've been there, you've done it all, correct? In your corporate life, you've seen it all, and you kind of just decided that, okay, I've
yeah,
done it all, and it's time to kind of change the narrative. And that's what you did. That's what you did with your premium organic skincare brand called
that's right.
RAWGANICS. I love the name. I love the name, RAWGANICS.
So do I. I mean, it says what it is, Well, basically, you're right. I feel, yeah, I have walked quite a bit. I've gathered a lot of moss, and 20 years I've been in, on the consulting side, on the corporate side. So 20 years of corporate branding,
Mm.
moving on to motherhood,
Yes, yes.
and leaving it all at 40 actually.
Mm.
I left it all. I left a very, very comfortable five-figure salary, and I was 40 to care for my son. And that was a journey that life, I realized that sometimes we plan a lot,
Hmm.
but life has a way of bringing us where we exactly need to be.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Correct. You are right. You are
Yeah.
right.
And
And
that's
I, and
exactly what happened to me.
Yeah, and I must say, since we are kind of, going to soon talk about your skincare
Yeah.
venture, right?
Yep.
I must say thank you, really thank you. These are some really awesome products, because it really worked on my combination skin type. This is the cleansing milk, which I really liked,
That's right.
and you sent me this serum, which I use every morning and
Skin
every
renew.
night. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Skin Renew, if you can see that.
Yeah, it does quite a bit.
Yes, and the moisturizer.
That's right.
So,
Yeah,
so
I'm really glad you love the range.
I,
I'm
I
so
liked it.
glad.
Yeah, I really liked it. I even took it with me to Cambodia,
Hmm.
not knowing, what the weather would be, because, whether it would be almost similar like Malaysia, but it turned out to be
Yep.
a little bit more hot and humid.
A little bit
Uh,
more humid, yeah.
yes, yeah. And I'm really
And it
thankful, huh?
adapted it adapted well to your skin in Cambodia, yeah?
Yes, it did. Yes, it
Yeah.
did. Yes, it
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
So when I went through this entire journey and I left corporate and all that,
Hmm.
so I had learned to make skincare exactly 10 years ago actually,
Okay.
because I mean I'll give you a little story, but not too long. So my son was born in rather compromised circumstances. So he was born severely premature.
Hmm. Okay.
And that led me into the world of organics because I started to, I needed to learn everything from scratch. I didn't want
Hmm.
to put, chemicals. You wanted to go back to basics. You wanted to find solutions because this boy was in and out of hospitals and all that.
Correct.
So it started with, the need to make something for him, not to
Hmm.
put conventional lotion and not to put conventional, body wash on him and stuff like that. So I
Correct.
learned this way back in Italy in 2012, And it was a hobby. I was in corporate back then, you know.
Mm.
So I've
Okay.
always had this as a hobby. So you know, a certificate, a diploma, always as a hobby. Did nothing with it. Sometime in 2019, because I was using this top-notch French organic brand, you
Okay.
know, and
Yeah.
I realized that it wasn't doing anything bad, but it wasn't doing what I wanted as well. You know, especially when you progress with age, you
Yes.
want that bit of hydration and you start losing your glow and you want your skincare to compensate for all of this, right?
Mm, mm,
And
mm,
it really wasn't happening, you know, like you were just keeping it there and I didn't like
mm.
that.
Right.
So in sometime in 2019, my son and I went on a 21-day road trip, and I took a particular cream with me from this particular brand.
Okay.
So it went into a melting state, and then a
Oh.
solid state, and then a melting state, but nothing in the composition changed.
Mm, mm.
Like, you know, when you do those things, if it was 100% organic and it didn't contain harsh preservatives or harsh ingredients, it
Correct.
should, you know, have some sort of discoloration, a smell change, a textural
Mm,
change. So
mm,
this didn't
mm.
have anything. And then I told myself, good God, this is what it is.
Right.
And so then I started saying, hey, why am I not doing what I know how to do?
Correct.
Because I had a circle around me who was telling me, Uma, you do this. Because I was spending time fixing everyone's face around me. Like if you
Mm,
came to,
mm.
like my mom went for an open heart surgery.
I like that expression. Everyone's faces around. Yeah.
No, because like my mom went for an open heart surgery and her face literally became like an orange skin. You
Mm,
know,
okay.
it was shriveled and dry and all that. You know, it's like as though the moisture was sucked out of her skin. You know
Yes.
what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
And so my mom, you know, I had to fix my mom's skin, and then my sister came to me with a lot of acne after being a houseman in medical school, and I had to fix her skin. And I
Mm-hmm.
was fixing a friend's skin, so I was fixing everyone's skin. But and everyone was telling me, you really have to do something about this. And my mom kept saying, you should do something about this because if someone tries what you have, then
Right.
they're not going to look back. But
Mm.
it's a lot, you know, like coming up with a skincare brand, doing all this is a
Yeah.
lot.
And it's been what, 5 years now? 10 years?
It's been 10 years since I made my first skincare, but Organics is only 3 years old.
Oh,
I,
okay.
s-
Okay.
I
Okay.
started as Urban Essential in 2019.
All right.
And even then, it was a hobby. We wanted to, I mean, you know, we were doing a lot of one on one
Mm.
personalization and stuff like that.
Correct.
Somewhere in 2020, we decided to say, okay, fine, you know what? Let's just go all out with this.
Mm, mm,
And
mm.
that's when we went e-commerce and we really, really took on.
Okay.
And yeah, then we started expanding, and one thing after the other. We are in stores right now.
Yes.
We are in a lot of those, you know, beauty stores. Our online store is our biggest yeah, it's our biggest retail channel.
Which is on your,
And
it's on your website, correct?
yeah, yeah, myorganics.com.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we are slowly taking on. So we seem to be attracting a lot of people who are in the beauty industry.
Mm.
So we have a lot of medical professionals as our customers. So
Oh,
so
okay.
we are, yeah.
Interesting.
So we are
Interesting.
this little brand. I'd like to think that Organics is this little brand, and I say little because I don't think that's anything to be ashamed of. I like being little
Yeah. No.
because we can make the real differences. Our differences are one on one.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
I,
I
I,
can make
I
real
like that.
changes. And yeah,
I
yeah,
like that. I think
and
that's the idea, right? That's the idea, Uma. You start small.
yeah,
You first you transform yourself, then you transform the community that you are part of, and then from there, it percolates into a bigger wave, and it goes out into the world.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And we have this very strong message.
Mm.
Speaking about raw organics, not just about the products, but
Okay.
I'd like the brand to stand for, being real,
Mm. Mm.
being real, being authentic. So it's taking
Right.
the word raw, extending it beyond the results that
Okay.
we produce on the surface,
Okay.
to encourage people to, start walking away from mainstream, start
Hmm.
walking away from conforming, starting to look beyond magazine and mainstream and all that. So it's just about
Yes.
peeling layers, just getting into the crux of
Yes.
being authentic. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. And as I said, I'm also endorsing it because I really like the products and I'm using
Thank
them
you so
every
much.
single day. So it's worked for me. It's really worked for me. Which,
Thank you. It has, because a lot of people who have tried a lot of brands that make a lot of promises, the thing is, it really does not have to be about a lot of magic.
yeah.
It really has to be kept simple.
And it's
And
self-discipline. I think it's a certain self-discipline that you inculcate,
yes,
yeah, with your
absolutely.
morning routine and your evening routine, and
Yeah, but it's also, it really, really comes down to the ingredients. It really
mm,
comes down to keeping it simple,
okay.
So we stay away from any kind of animal byproduct. And we realize that skin loves it,
Mm,
because the skin absorbs the nutrition from plants
yes,
a lot better than it absorbs any kind of layers that comes with, the complex fibers that animal byproducts are made with.
correct.
So that's really the basic. I mean, it's just keeping it simple, keeping it clean, keeping it qualitative. It's as
And
simple as
that's
that.
yeah, that almost sounds like my diet actually. My new diet now is very clean because I have overhauled my diet. I've
I know
become
you.
yeah,
You have to share that with me, because I've been trying, and weight is not my friend, as you can see. I mean, it's a struggle I've been having.
yeah, correct.
With
And
age,
like
it's
you
been a
mentioned,
struggle.
about turning to more plant based, whether it's a product, whether it's your diet, whether it's a way of life, and I love that. I love how you also mentioned simplicity and keeping it simple. I think that should be like a standard operating procedure for everything in life.
Yeah,
no,
I
no
mean,
drama, no drama,
in
no
most
chaos.
cases, in most cases, when it kept simple, there's really no complications, and it's no different with skincare.
Yeah,
And yeah, that's all. That's all I set out to do.
correct.
And we're really great, because right now we're moving on to being mainstream as well.
Right.
So we have already gotten, from being an artisan,
Mm-hmm.
from someone who is doing it in the house,
Right.
and then doing it, in a purpose built workshop,
Correct.
to now doing it in a GMP certified facility.
Mm.
So we have, in a very short time, taken this stride. But obviously, I mean, the experience I've had in growing other brands and in the corporate has really helped me, because
Correct.
I had that, that knowledge base, like
Yes.
how
Yeah.
how to start a business, and how to manage it, and how to drive a brand.
So,
So
which,
all of those things were there.
which brings me to my next question. What have been the highs and lows of your life as a founder of Organics? Challenging one. Challenging one, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. I'll tell you my lows,
Hmm.
okay?
Okay.
Because my lows have led to my highs. I've always been somebody, I love a challenge,
Hmm. Okay.
and when it's presented to me, I will work my darnest to turn it around. I've always been that. That's always been
So catch the bull by its horns.
catch the bull by its horn, and
Yeah.
I'll just say it as it is,
Yeah.
and I'll if I can turn something around, and if I have to work damn hard to do it, I'll just do it, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I will do it. So basically, when I came out as an artisan, and I wanted to be, I wanted to go into stores. I thought,
Hmm.
my product looked as good, and I know it works, and I wanted to put it in stores, and many people who insulted me, they said, "Oh, you don't have the relevant approvals. You know,
Hmm.
you're
Hmm.
not
Hmm.
big enough. Like who are you? You know that."
Right. Right.
I got questioned. Like who are you? Like why are you coming up at
Who do
at
you
this.
think you are? In other
Yeah,
words.
like who do you think you are? Where did you come from? What's your credibility? Are you certified? Are you this and that? So, for somebody who thought like I knew a lot,
Hmm.
right? And I know how to do this. You know what I mean? It's like in your core, you know it,
Correct. Correct.
and you have every confidence, and you have a team that's beautiful. and then you have got resistance just because you're this little,
Yeah.
right? And you get talked down to. So that happened in 2020.
Okay.
I
Oh,
told
that
myself,
is that's very recent.
very
Very
recent,
yes.
very recent in 2020, because in 2019 we decided to come out public. So in
Okay.
2020, when I attempted to go big, I had this wall, and I told them, I said, okay, fine, I told the people around me,
Hmm.
I said, I'm going to work at this,
Okay.
and I am going to bring this brand mainstream,
Hmm.
not compromising the handmade quality of the product.
Okay. Okay.
So as I stand, just before Raya, we got the approvals for 5 of our products to actually go on the mainstream shelf. So we've actually got our KKM notifications,
Hmm.
and so that journey has, I've now realized that journey, and I can go out there now and say, hey, yeah, you know what? We still make it like this. We're
Mm-hmm.
still us, but guess what? I can be next to you.
Yeah, correct. And I
Yeah.
think Uma, everything that happens to us as women in life is all through trial and error, right? And a great deal of self-discipline, because I think that is the cornerstone,
Yeah,
to great success stories, which are like consistent, consistent action that,
absolutely.
that leads to, longevity, in terms of long-term
It's
success.
all about wanting to learn. It's all about opening yourself to the learning that comes with an experience.
Hmm, that
I
is
think
true.
that's very important. If
That
you
is true.
take something, yeah, if you take something as a beating,
Hmm.
and you remain like put in a corner, you're
Correct.
always gonna be in the corner.
Yes. Yeah.
But if
That
you
is
if
so
you
very
look out and you take that learning and you try and convert it into a reason for you to beat it,
Mm-hmm.
then you become better for it, because there is
Correct.
so much to be learned. And but this happens with a mindset. This
Yeah.
happens with a mindset that's open to learning and absorbing and evolving.
Correct. Being
Yeah.
open, being open to challenges, being open to
Yes.
being challenged.
And
Uh, you know,
embracing it.
yes, correct. Yeah,
And
yeah,
embracing it, not fighting it, not resisting it,
yeah.
um, not standing above it, but
Correct.
just
Yes,
just embracing. Yeah.
yeah. And I know what you mean by that,
Yep.
because as I said, professionally we are constantly evolving, because I think that's the only way
Right.
to, as you mentioned, right? Keep constantly learning, being open to being taught, to remain the student forever,
Yeah.
because that is how you will find teachers and mentors who find you,
Yeah.
and your life kind of progresses, upgrades itself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But even being open to falling,
Hmm,
you know
hmm. Yeah.
knowing that sometimes you have to
Yeah.
lay low,
Yes.
open
Yeah.
to a fall, so
Yeah.
that you just know the depths, that in which you have to swim out of.
Yes. Correct. Fall, pick yourself up,
Yeah,
dust yourself back, and put yourself back in the game.
that's right, that's right. So it's about a whole lot of it's
Correct.
just attitude. It's just the attitude you come into life with, you know
Correct. Which
so
which which also then from there moves into, because we are talking today about women leadership in that
Yep.
sense, right?
Yep.
Which direction do you see women leadership progressing into in the current scenario, Uma, of our lives?
I use this word raw a lot, you
Hmm.
know, because that's what I'd like to see more in the world. And
Correct.
and and what I'm really really happy about is a lot of women are coming out and breaking stereotypes.
Hmm.
You
Okay.
know, so that's something that you're seeing more and more. You have a set of mature people, right?
Correct. Correct.
Who probably were more conforming,
Yes.
and now they're just embracing. Okay, this is where the world is going to, and I'm joining in the bandwagon, right?
Hmm.
And then you are seeing so many young women coming out, trying to. I love the authenticity that's coming out of our gender. I love the lack of typical stereotypes that we all used to live by. You
Hmm.
know,
Yes.
Whether it is how we appear, our gender orientation, the choices we make,
Correct.
um, just staying beyond expectations.
Yes.
So
Correct.
I love that women are embracing more of the sense of individualism,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because I think then when that happens,
Sorry.
you see a lot of real change, not just in commerce, but not just in the way these women move commerce. That's one thing, but
Yes.
you see societal changes.
Correct. Yeah.
So I love the authenticity that's coming out, and I love the rawness that's coming out. I love the conversations that are coming out,
Like a ripple effect, right?
like a
Correct.
ripple effect, and I believe in with everything that's happening
Mm-hmm.
around the world. It is what is needed,
Yes.
not just
Correct.
for the female gender, but generally, for people to speak authentically, to stand up for the things that you believe in, you
Correct.
know um whatever it may be. I mean,
Yes.
vaccinated, unvaccinated, straight,
Yeah. Yeah.
by
Yeah.
whatever these things are, because the openness is what is required in the world, if you ask me.
Correct. And that's why I'm very glad that we have another very talented, lady who's also joining us.
Fabulous.
Yeah, and Stana Ferrari has a lot to share because, as I mentioned in my introduction, I met her at this, like a women's group called Future Females,
Okay.
which basically invites entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs from
Right.
Kuala Lumpur, and they kind of meet over, and of course, men also are included, because
Okay.
obviously, there's nothing in holistic leadership that you can achieve without the participation of
No,
women.
exactly. I mean, I believe in being gender neutral.
Yeah,
In a lot of my engagements, I mean, many a times people come and ask me, "Oh, you do skincare?" I said, "For women." I said,
yes,
"Why do men not have faces? Do men
yeah,
not have skin?"
yeah, yeah,
So, I have gender neutral conversations all the time. All about.
correct,
I'm all for
correct.
that. Yeah.
Correct. So Stana Ferrari is a professional life coach. She helps people achieve self mastery with her 7 pillar program to discover true leadership. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, so I'm very interested to see what is this 7 pillar program that she talks about, and hopefully we will have her soon joining us. Let me see if she's backstage and and get her online.
I really want to know what that is and how I can make use of it.
Speaks up,
Hello.
speak up the devil. Stana, hi. Hi.
Hi. Thank you so much, Ethel, for having me here today. Happy
Hi,
Sunday. And
Stella.
You.
nice to meet you, Uma.
Lovely to meet you too. Wow, some powerful stuff.
Yeah. And every heart to heart that happens I'm always, learning so much from my guests itself because everything that is happening is so like a give and take, right? Of through empowerment, as I call it, because it has to move beyond words, Uma, and I'm sure even Stana agrees. When we keep talking about empowerment, because it's such a old beaten word, it has
I
to,
It
it
is.
has to,
yeah,
it has to reflect in
yeah,
action. It has to reflect in solid companionship, in solid leadership that walks its talk, stands for itself. All
yeah.
action oriented. All action oriented. And therefore, I'm very keen to understand from Stana what is this 7 pillar program. Stana.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, first of all, for having me here. I always thought that a person is its own resources for answers and clarity. Okay. I believe that people, we have many needs, we have many aspects of our lives. And if you want to be able to be a leader for others, you need
Right.
to be able to first be a leader for yourself. And
Yes,
to be able
absolutely.
to do that, you must acknowledge all the aspects of your life that make the person that you are. You need to be a master at them. Because if
Correct.
you don't do that, you will not be able to provide help and guidance for others. And the reason why this all came up to me, first of all, is because I had my life has taught me a lot of things. I come from a broken family. I come from a family where there was separation, there was pain. So there were a lot of wounds in me. And I realized that if I don't find the resources to heal them myself, nobody's going to do that for me.
Right.
And that is, and that is true in life. That is true at work, in your profession, in your romantic relationship, in your friendship, in anything.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
Correct.
I decided to put on paper what are the aspects that really a person must have in their life. So, and it turns out that to me there's 7.
Okay.
So yes,
But why the number 7 and why not say 10 or 5?
there could have been more. I just wanted to regroup them in a way that it was easier to manage. So, for example, one of them is knowing the human needs. We have 6 basic human needs. So basic step number 1 is to be able to understand what your needs are and how to fulfill them, how to satisfy them. Okay.
Okay.
Are you guys familiar with the 6 human needs, the basic human needs?
Uma, are you familiar?
I mean, not really.
Okay.
I don't know if I know them, but I don't know them as needs, maybe.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, let me
So what
tell
are they?
you. One of them is the certainty. We need to feel certain in our lives, because the moment we feel certain, we feel secure and we feel safe.
Oh,
Right.
Second human need is
that's very powerful.
uncertainty. Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
Certainly.
That
second
alone is
human
like the
need-
answer to a lot of things.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, correct.
Yeah.
And ladies, you wouldn't believe how much people struggle fulfilling these needs, because some of them carry a lot of stigma, depending on the cultural background.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The second human need is uncertainty, which is the opposite of certainty. And why do you need uncertainty? Because it brings variety. When in life everything becomes too predictable, it becomes boring. And when we are bored, we end up doing things that normally cannot be very healthy.
Yes,
So we
yes.
seek for variety. For example, COVID, the pandemic, brought a lot of uncertainty, because what happens is that nobody expected it.
Yeah.
Everyone suffered it in very unique ways. People
Correct.
lost jobs, people lost loved ones. So there was a lot of uncertainty, and people had a hard time seeing that as a possible source of opportunities.
Yeah.
But
Correct.
variety can be that.
Yeah.
Variety
So
brings
are
us
you-
refreshed.
Yeah. Are you
Yes.
referring to the unknown then? It is the things
Yes.
you cannot know of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. And as human beings, we are trained by society to have everything laid out for us. But the truth is that the unknown is the one thing that brings the novelty, is the one thing that brings the opportunities that we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Another human need, and that causes a lot of friction with people, especially in Southeast Asia, is the need for significance. We need to feel important. We need to feel important, needed. We need to feel noticed. We need to feel appreciated.
Right.
And the
Validation. Would you call it validation?
it's more than that. It's more.
It's the need for
significant.
supremacy, I think.
No,
It's the need for supremacy to feel
actually,
important. No?
it's not the need of it's kind of like validation, but mostly it's a sense of that you validate what I validate for myself.
Right.
And the problem with such a need is that many families raise their kids teaching them that you always have to put others before you. And that's wrong. That's absolutely wrong. You cannot be completely selfless. It's impossible. Because you are like this.
Yeah.
This is a phone that needs a charger.
Yeah.
If the phone is not charged, it cannot help anything. It cannot do anything. And you are exactly that.
Yep.
So you need to think about yourself first, so that
Yep.
your energy is charged and you can do others the good.
Correct. In fact, I just got off the phone with my daughter, telling her exactly that the time had come to put herself first. You know,
I think it should always be that way. I mean, some needs are more balanced than others. Sometimes we overlook some needs over other ones. But at the end of the day, all 6 of them needs to be fulfilled.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow. That sounds very interesting. And I think offline, Uma, it's a good idea to meet Stana and kind of, get through the entire 7 pillars that she talks about, because
Yeah.
I'm
I
sure.
know. I mean, I'm already thinking like, wow, each, and she's only on point 3. And
Yes.
it's like, it's
I'm actually
huge.
just still on point one. The thing is that point one is the 6 basic human needs. I'm just mentioning them.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. I mean, it's already huge. I mean, you've got another 4 more. So,
Yeah,
wow.
So
correct.
let me go quickly through the other. The other needs are the need for contribution. As human needs, we need to be able to contribute to the world because it's
Right.
a way for us to give back whatever we learned, we experienced,
I
we
agree.
lived.
Yes.
There's a need for
Yeah.
growth. Human
Yes.
Correct.
beings are not meant to be static. We are
Yes.
Yes.
meant to grow. We want to
Evolve.
expand.
Yes.
We want to learn, evolve.
That's a good thing, isn't it, Stana? Isn't that a good thing?
Yeah,
The need for
absolutely.
contribution, correct?
Absolutely. There are
I
people,
think it's the basis of life.
yeah,
Otherwise, you just, I mean, if every day was the same, then what's the point of life? I mean, I don't know.
But Uma, I must share this here, and
Yeah,
and I know that Stana will have a opinion too. The need to give back or to make a contribution should also come from a very authentic space and not a space of ego.
yeah,
absolutely. I mean, it has got to come from a place where, I mean, like in my case, right? You've traveled a particular journey, right? You have
yeah,
seen X amount of things, and you should give back knowing that you want to reach out to somebody else, who possibly are having the same hiccups that you were. Like, that's how I look at it,
Yeah, but
because I mentor.
from a
Yeah,
space of authenticity and not ego.
definitely
yeah.
not
Right,
ego.
Stana?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Not
Wow.
for the public eye, but more for the soul. I don't
Right.
That's
know.
true.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Stana,
It
please
makes
continue.
a lot of sense. When
Yeah.
you do things from ego, it
Mm,
means that you're doing that from a place of fear. And
Yeah.
you need to be really careful with that. I am not against ego. I
Yeah.
really disagree with people that say that ego is a bad thing. It's not a
mm.
bad thing.
No, no,
If you
absolutely.
mismanage it, it can
Yeah.
Yes.
become bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Ego is just basically it's your alarm system.
Yes.
Ego is there
Yeah.
to tell you when you're about to cross the boundary of the
Yeah.
unknown,
Yeah.
Right. Right, right.
but it's
Yeah.
But
not a
you,
bad
you you
thing.
have to do it with a positive, in a
Yeah.
positive place in your head, in your heart.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
I usually kind of say that ego is a huge, powerful driver for me. It has pushed me to kind of, to do the things that I want to do, to kind of, creating, a space of wellness for myself professionally
Right.
and in my personal space as well. Like how Sarah mentioned, it can flip either way, right? It can flip as very negative and
Yeah.
cause a lot of chaos and destruction in your life and in your relationships, or you can always flip it to become a very positive, powerful, driver for yourself in terms of and Stana is a shrink there, so I'm sure she has something to kind of say about it. Stana, please continue.
The last human need is the need for love and connection. We are sociable beings, so it's only normal that we need to experience the linking with the social. We need to be able to
Right.
share. We need to be able to
Right.
feel. We need to be with others because at the end of the day, what
Yes.
makes a place is the people.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you're
And
right.
also, what makes life enjoyable is when you share it with others in
Correct.
whichever capacity you think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Correct.
this is point number one. The point number one is to be able to understand the basic human needs and how you function. And that is the bottom. So when I coach people, normally I start from the basic human needs because as basic as they sound,
Correct.
many people aren't aware of them.
Yeah, that is true.
Right.
That is
Yeah.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah. I, I
That's
I so relate to everything that you've said.
yeah.
I wouldn't have, maybe in my 20s, I wouldn't have
Yeah.
come to that
Yeah.
in my 20s. But having been through a little bit, quite a number of speed bumps and
Mhm.
experiences, as you go through a lot of searching, you
Yeah.
Experience, yeah.
do. Yeah.
Experience results in wisdom. That's it. Often
That's
doesn't
true.
come in early, yeah, but when it comes, thank God it's come.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you see things. Like what you said, Ethel, right? You used your ego, and that's allowed you to propel. But that
Yeah.
was me before. Today, I have learned to kind of put it out of the door, and it took
Mm.
a lot,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
I was that before. When I was in corporate, I was building my life. It was like it was just that street and not
It's-
really open.
It's a
Yeah.
different universe there.
It's a different it's a different universe altogether. But today I'm more at ease because I am I'm more one with myself.
Correct.
You know, when you go through those discoveries and you're
Yeah.
one with yourself, and that makes things around you a lot
Much more
easier.
simple. Yeah, simpler,
Yeah.
easier. You get rid of the baggage, correct? You get
Life becomes a lot more,
simpler.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
It becomes beautiful because I think also there is less, how do you say? You're
You
more
carry.
expert.
Yeah. I mean,
You have more tools. You have more filters. You don't sweat the small things anymore.
Yes.
Not
yes,
anymore.
yes. Yeah, correct.
Absolutely. I relate to you so much.
Yeah,
It
Sana,
should-
that is really good. That is really good wisdom, and I'm sure to all the audiences, people who are here on my page, who are listening in, and and friends who will also watch the video later on when it's put out. That it is we are really responsible for the quality of our own lives. I think it's as simple as
Absolutely.
that, right?
Absolutely.
Because we
Yes.
consciously make the choices that we make, which either leads to bliss or chaos. It's as simple as that, right?
Absolutely. I don't believe, a lot of people, you hear this phrase, right, where they say, you just have to allow life to happen. I don't believe in that at all.
Yeah, yeah.
I think you navigate life,
Yeah,
kind.
like I heard, that when I was in Cambodia, I was watching one of the shows online, and there was a beautiful statement from one of the celebrities who was in the wellness space, who said, "Don't live your life, lead your life." And
Yeah.
I just stopped there and I said, "Oh my God,
Wow.
oh
Yeah.
my God, wow." Just it's not about live your life; it's lead your life.
Yeah, exactly. So all this, live, let life take you. All those type of phrases that people like to throw.
Yeah.
Correct.
I always wonder, like, it's your life.
Yeah,
You've got one of it, right?
correct.
Why not direct it or guide it the way that you want it to?
Yeah, lead
Because
your
it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen for you. It's something you make happen.
yeah, correct.
People
Because
are
you,
afraid, Uma. There's a lot of fear. Being
Yeah,
responsible of your life takes a lot of courage.
yes,
yeah,
yes.
but
And I'm
as I was
sure,
talking
and I'm
to
sure.
Ethel, it's also because people are afraid to fall as well. You
True.
must be open to falling and realize the lessons that you can learn.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which brings me to my next question for Stana. Uh, what have been your highs and lows of your professional life as a coach?
I would say the highs is definitely seeing the results of the sessions in my clients and see the revelation that it brings and the growth and the evolution. That is, for me, is what fills my heart.
Correct.
When I see a client that is happy because he achieved their goal
Yeah.
and beyond, I am the happiest.
Right.
The lows is probably the things that I wish I had known when I started.
Okay.
Obviously, if someone starts a business, you're not an expert right away, and you learn things along the way.
Right.
And probably for me, the low was probably handling people that I thought they were aligned with my coaching, but they were not at the end. So they end up being uncoachable. And accepting those lows for me was a little bit hard because I thought, hey, somebody needs help. They're going to listen. But apparently, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. So for me, and having to accept that was a low. Another low for me was probably just the inexperience at the beginning. That you start a business, you want to thrive right away, but you need
Correct.
to understand the patient. It takes
Yes.
time. You need to build up.
Correct.
And that for me was quite hard. And plus, it all happened in 2020. So it's all added to the lockdowns and all the heavy burden that we're already carrying.
Correct. Very, very
Yeah.
interesting because you also started out in 2020, and so did Uma also start out with her.
We went big in 2020. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was, a lot of people look at COVID very negatively. I mean, I know it's a huge thing that happened to the world,
Correct.
but I
Yeah.
think there has been a lot of authenticity. There has
Yes.
been a lot of reality,
Yeah.
that's come out of it. There's
I
been a
think
lot of
people got
lessons.
real. People really got real with
People
themselves
got real. People
because
started taking challenges that they wouldn't on a normal day, because like, hey, you can live through this. You can live through anything, man.
yeah, absolutely yes,
Yeah.
absolutely yes.
It's
It's made me also, more fearless actually. That hey,
exactly. I mean, and
I
it's
can,
and you become more real,
yeah, yeah,
because you suddenly think, because we've all lost loved ones, friends.
correct,
This pandemic has taken a lot out of us,
correct.
and so we all go like, heck, why not? You
Yeah.
know,
So Stana, being in the field for I think for the last what 2 years, almost 2 years now, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
And today's topic is about the present, the future is present for women leadership, and
Yep.
that is what we are kind of discussing with both of you. Which direction do you see? I want to know from you. Which direction do you see women leadership progressing into?
Um, it brings me back a little bit back to the ego. And
Mm,
I am not an anti-feminist.
mm,
I am more for equality between genders. And I do believe that women have been disparaged and put in a lower position for far too long. So yes,
right, right.
women require some special attention so that we reach equality.
Okay.
But what I do ask for women that want to be in leadership, what they're needing to work on is their ego.
Mm, mm.
You
Okay.
need to start, you need to enter the entrepreneurial world or the leadership world, say for women that want to be leaders in their professions.
Correct.
Just walk in with a peace of mind. Do not
Yeah,
walk in with fear or having to defend yourself. You don't need it. You don't
correct.
need it. If you're
Correct.
clever and if you already have the skills to be a leader and an expert in what you do and what you
Correct.
know, you don't
Correct.
need to defend yourself against anyone. And
Mm,
especially nowadays that the topic is so sensitive,
yes.
anyone attacking a woman will be clawed because that's not allowed anymore. So right
yeah,
now you don't have to scrape so much. It's already
Yeah.
out there for us.
Mm,
So
mm,
I guess that what I'm trying to say is for women that want to be leaders,
mm.
go with peace of mind.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
right now you really don't need to fight that much anymore because the fight it started a while back already.
Correct. I must also mention here. I must also mention here, Stana, from a space of femininity as well, right? Because you know what I'm saying. Because
Yes,
being in the corporate industry, I've seen women who are in leadership positions suddenly
yes,
become very male-like. The energy is all very
yes.
masculine. They become very male, correct? And you say, hey, why can't women, continue to be in their feminine space, in their femininity, and
yes,
still be great leaders, right?
yes,
Because we think that to be in a corporate world, yeah, it's a man's world, and not anymore. It's not like that anymore. Maybe 20 years ago it could have been,
yeah,
but you don't need to emulate a man in order to
Right.
be respected and taken into account. Not at all.
Correct.
We have things that men don't have, and I think we should value them. We should highlight them.
Yes.
yeah,
Correct. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
This is
around me, I thought there
huh?
are people who, when they speak about equality, right?
Mm.
Mhm.
I think this is a topic that has been around for so long, and
Like
if you look
empowerment,
at,
like the word
yeah,
empowerment.
like the word empowerment, like the word equality, but
Right.
if you look at the real world, there are women ministers around the
Mm.
world. You
Mm.
have so many women in corporates, CEOs,
Yes.
I mean, to
Founders.
me, yeah. So to me, we have claimed equality, but the
Correct.
problem is that, I mean, just what I think is that we've just not let go of that world. So it is time to exist in that equal space and
Mm.
claim that equal
Mhm.
space
Mm.
without having behind your head that, oh, I have to be equal to that person, because that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
We should be existing in a genderless state.
Correct.
And if we think that way, then we are already equal. We are
Mm.
going to claim what is rightfully due to us, not because we're male or we're female, but
Right.
because we bring in that, and so we claim it as equals. And
Yes.
that's where a lot of people are stuck, and I feel, and I think, to me, a lot of women that I meet, they need to get through that. It's not about fighting with the men anymore.
Stana, do you agree
I
with
think
that?
that's done.
I completely agree. I completely agree. I mean, we are in the year 2022.
Correct.
We needed to fight about 30 years ago.
Yeah.
But it's become so open now, and so it's such a vulnerable topic.
Correct.
That the fight has been fought already. There's still to be done, but like you say, we don't need to become aggressive for that. We already have the, how do you say, the plateau, the scenario for us.
We have the space. We fought
already
for
have
it,
it.
and we're there. Yeah.
We're already there. So stop behaving like a man. Be the woman that you are, because there is no need for you to emulate the guy.
Yes, exactly. Wow. I like that. I like that. I like the fact that both of you resonate, correct, with what we are
Absolutely.
discussing.
Absolutely.
And as I said, no, today everything is about walking the talk, no, just not the talk, and your actions say something else. Stana, what do you think? Because you're in a space where you're actually guiding, helping, and coaching individuals to be their best self, correct? So that is a very empowering and inspiring space in real terms. What needs to be done to ensure our communities continue to cultivate inspiring women leaders? Stana.
Again, I go back a little bit to the concept of what it means to be a leader for women, and I think what I mean to say here is that there is a lot of deconditioning that needs to be done.
Okay, conditioning.
Women that want to be leaders, they need to hone their strength,
correct,
and their weaknesses, and just go for it.
Yes, I think most times they forget their weaknesses, actually, because
and it's okay, and it's okay to have weaknesses. We just hone them. It's fine.
Absolutely.
But women that want to enter leadership, they want to, an advice for them, what I would say is, first of all, beware of what your ego is telling you. But second, you already have everything that you need to succeed.
Correct.
You just need to see your strengths and your weaknesses, because the whole package is what is needed.
Correct. Wow. Uma, what do you have to say to that?
Personally, from a point of a very egocentric corporate person, I have learned to embrace my vulnerability.
Yes.
You don't have to fight so hard to appear perfect, to appear whole, and like I told you, my son, and that journey taught me that. Because perfection is what
there is no perfection.
There is no perfection.
Progress.
And what that is very, very different from you and me, because for you, you want to arrive somewhere different. For me, I want to arrive somewhere. So we each to our own. And there is no shame in putting out vulnerability, because it makes us human. I mean, it's real. These challenges are real, and there's nothing wrong in coming out and saying that these are my strengths. These are things I'm still learning, and I'm always learning. I'm always going to make those mistakes, and I'll be the first one to say that I'm always learning.
Yes, correct. Yeah. And I'm sure. Sorry.
I'm sorry, Ethel, and I want to say, I think the way you said it, Uma, is crucial. Because if you are saying that, okay, I'm an expert at this, I am not an expert at this, but I'm still learning, it is a great opportunity, not only for yourself, because you show yourself vulnerable, but also for the employer, that they get to mold you and that they get to contribute into your learning. It's a win-win situation that I don't think many people are seeing, and I think it should be seen that way.
Yes, I completely agree. I completely agree with that.
I mean, coming out more human just enables us to connect with people. Like, I'm in the FMCG industry. It allows me to connect with people. It allows me to understand where I am, where I need to go, what I need to do. Because if I didn't do that point of like, this is where I'm short, I'm never going to be able to make those improvements and make any kind of contribution to my customer base.
Yes, correct. Yeah. And I think these are the perspectives which is very required today, whether they are men or women, to be open to, as we said, to be open to challenges, to be open to being challenged, because in that there is growth, right? If you look at it,
absolutely,
very positively. So, which brings us to a very crucial, understanding of our own spaces that we are in.
Yep.
What's your take on the quality of leadership in reference to women in Malaysia? Stana,
Again, repeat.
what is your take on the quality of leadership with reference to women in Malaysia?
Fierceness. I find that leader women that I met in Malaysia, they're fierce. They know what they are, what they do, and they're extremely confident, which comes to me as a big surprise, as I didn't expect it. I don't know too much about Malaysia yet, but I do find that the leaders that I found here in many fields, they are confident women, and they don't even try too hard. They're just confident because they own who they are completely.
Right. Yeah. Very powerful, right? Yeah. I think they're very powerful when they know who they are. Uma, what do you have to say? What's your take? Because you are a local, you know.
I'm local, so I'm going to have a different perspective, right? So I have, I've had the privilege and pleasure of working with some really powerful corporate women who are at the top,
Okay.
whom, I look up to, and I think they make excellent role models,
Okay.
Having said that, when you come on to the public landscape or the political landscape, I still do think a lot of rawness and authenticity is still due. You
Okay.
know, that's something that we would like to see. I mean, I would personally like to see a lot more of that. I would certainly like to see a lot more authenticity and rawness, in approach when it comes to the public circle as opposed to the corporate circle.
Correct.
So yeah, that's pretty much what I see. But then again, I'm local, so yeah, as a voting local, we've seen quite a bit. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That's right. Any advice, Tana, you would like to give to young women who are in their 20s, who have who could be one day great leaders in whichever space that they want to create for themselves? Would you have any kind of advice to share or a
I have
suggestion?
two. I have two pieces of advice to give them. One of them is to learn to be patient. Women that are in their 20s, normally what I find is that they're so eager into getting the solutions and the answers right now, like if not immediately.
Yeah.
And my advice to them is that, yes, I like your spirit, but so you need to let the elements around you to work around you. So you need to allow time and patience, because with patience is only when you really get to learn the lesson around you, because there are too many elements in the leadership world. And if you want to succeed, it doesn't go only your way. You need to absorb everything there is around you, and that takes time and patience.
Right. That takes time and patience. Correct. Because
And
Rome
the
was not.
second thing,
Because
yes,
Rome was
and the
not built.
second thing that is aligned is having the humility to learn. At 20, 25 years old, there's probably not much that you know, or probably you know some things, but there's so much more learning to do. You need to be humbled enough to recognize
Yeah.
the areas that you're not strong
Yeah.
yet.
And usually that particular age group believes they know everything.
Yes, they call it millennials. Is it the millennials or not anymore? I don't know.
I think the word still applies. Yes.
Gen
They know
Y, Z, yeah.
I'm lost. I don't even know what generation I am. So
me too. Okay. Right. Uma, what do you have to advise? Given advice.
Um, yeah, I mean, I have a point, where I agree with what Senna said. So to me, it's two things, right? One is, the newer generation, right? Because they have had so much given to them as they're growing up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I find sometimes they float, hoping to arrive, where the ship takes them, type of thing, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So I would say claim your space,
Clean your space.
find claim your space, find what you do, really well, and claim that space, do everything that's required to claim that space,
Correct.
because it's not going to come, to you in that ship that you're waiting for, right?
Yeah. That
uh
is
you
that
know
is so true. That is so true.
that's a lot that I'm seeing. But having said that, um don't expect everything to be hunky-dory, because there's no
yes,
perfection in this big lesson of life. right?
Correct.
I completely agree.
So be
Correct.
open to learning and falling as you arrive there.
Yeah.
So I think if you're open to this, um, you know, you'll be more result oriented. You know, because
Correct.
that's what I see. You know, I just kind of see them a little floaty, and
Yeah. Floating around, figuring out,
yeah, I mean, it's not going to come to you. You've got to go for whatever is it that you want to.
Yeah. Yeah. Correct.
You know, and sometimes, you know, it's like mom and dad are only going to be there for a while.
Yeah, yeah, true. And I think the sooner they know that, the better for it.
Yeah.
And Dr. Hugh finally joins us, and he's backstage because I was waiting for him to kind of join us. So every Sunday, Dr. Hugh joins us, and we have a short kind of discussion, with him as well. So let me bring him online and introduce you ladies to him too. Dr. Hugh is the medical director of the Mac Clinic.
Fabulous.
Oh, okay.
Fabulous.
Dr. Hugh,
Hi, hi Ethel.
good evening and welcome to
Evening.
Heart to Heart.
Yeah, nice to see you, and nice to see Uma and Stana.
Yes,
Nice to meet you, Doctor.
Hi, Dr. Hugh.
Hi.
we've had a very interesting conversation today on the future is present in terms of women leadership. And and Stana is a fantastic life coach. She has this 7-pillar program. She shared a few pointers with us there. Uma has been the old corporate geek, has done everything in that space, and then suddenly said, okay, I'm done with it, and went and launched her own skincare brand. Dr. Hugh, and so what she does is completely raw and it's completely organic, and that's how the entire conversation also kind of happened. And you
Yeah.
have been in the aesthetic field now for the last 20 years, as medical director of a clinic. And I'm sure all three of us want to know and learn something more from you as well. First, beginning with what are, the latest trends in aesthetic treatments. I've been reading quite a bit ever since I came back from Cambodia, because Cambodia is also slowly getting into the aesthetic, vertical. I saw a couple of clinics and stuff like that, but not as hugely popular as in maybe Malaysia or Dubai, but getting there any which way. Can you share, Dr. Hugh, what you think are the latest trends in aesthetic medicine?
Yeah, I think in aesthetic medicine and aesthetic surgery around the world, it's always it's an ever-changing field, very dynamic, and
Right.
especially when people are embracing it all over the world. Previously, I think maybe 10 years, 15 years back, people are very self-conscious about revealing what they've done on their faces, any treatments and all that. And then social media came about, and there was a big boom. And I think not just social media, but before that, some aesthetic procedures became very easily available, and for people to try. Simple injections like with Botox or neuromodulators and fillers came about,
Yes.
and I think it introduced people that it's possible. I don't have to get a cut. I don't have to get a surgery. Nothing really major. Maybe
Yeah.
not even on time, because it could be just a afternoon lunchtime procedure, and
Right.
that's why I'm trying to explain why it's a very very fluid, very dynamic field at the moment.
Yes.
And unfortunately, the past 1, 2, 3 years, there's not been a lot of conferencing going around.
Yes.
so
Yes.
so
Right.
it's sort of like things seems to have been static, but things are still happening in the background. And for those of us who are in the know, what the industry is doing is they're also trying to prepare for what they call now the anti-Zoom boom, right?
Yes, exactly. I was
Previously
going
it
to say
was
that.
Zoom, and everybody was like, I don't have to look good from my neck down. And now, they're going to go out and meet people again. So they're going to be attending events, going for dinners and all that. So
Correct.
there's going to be more interest in the coming out to do procedures again. And the other thing is, of course, with the pandemic sort of fizzling out a little bit, we're seeing that people are daring to come out now. And so
Yes.
what else is new? So as with anything else, there's a little bit of incremental improvements in all the things that people have been doing in the past. There have been improvements in what you can accomplish with breast lifts.
Correct.
People don't do implants anymore.
Yes.
There's actually a new way where they actually can do a bit of a tuck of the tissue under the muscle, and you get a lift and some volume. There are people are zooming in a little bit more onto their noses as well currently, because
That's huge,
maybe
yeah? That's very
doing the
huge. That becomes
doing
very huge,
the
yeah.
camera right in front of them, and maybe some of them are wearing masks. They tend to focus on the nose, so there is a bit of nose rejuvenation kind of a trend going on. And another thing which I can do, because I don't do any surgeries in my clinic, I'm exclusively minimally invasive and non-invasive. I only do things like with the injections, like fillers, a little bit of, we can mold and contour the face a little bit, really greatly improve the skin, which is a little bit different from what surgery does. And they are zooming in on the nose. And like I said, the other thing is, the other area on the face is actually the chin. So I guess now with the mask coming off, there is the focus on the chin again. I'm hiding my chin with my beard here, but there are lots of people who need help with the chin apparently.
Yes.
Even before I must say that even before the pandemic came about, we were already looking at how to really enhance the chin with fillers. Because previously people just thought, just make it more pointy, more projected forward, sharp.
Always getting the we.
Yes.
And that is not the best and not the right approach. There's so much more you can do with the chin, and we've identified so many other points on the chin that we can actually do to strengthen it and to reverse the aging process on the chin. Our chin does weaken as we age. It does turn up a little bit because when the skin weakens, the muscle feels a bit stronger, and you get a crease in the middle of the chin. And if you strengthen the pillars on the chin, you actually rejuvenate and make the person look younger. The rejuvenation of the chin actually is a relaxation of the chin, and then you can look at projection and all that. So chin is another area, and the rest of it, I've been looking around is just scouring and looking at what people are saying are the newer trends. And one thing that doesn't surprise me is actually people are looking at combining treatments, and we've been always doing that in the past. So what I mean by combining treatments, or what people mean by combining treatments, is you do laser and the filler, and the Botox, and you improve the skin, you improve the contours, you improve the structure of the face, and you can do it, multiple procedures, maybe in one sitting, or plan out with a doctor, and you do it over a few times, and you can get remarkable results. That people thought that previously wasn't possible with non-surgical procedures. So that is all there. Injectables are still there. PRP has now changed to PRF, Plurich Plus, or the vampire facelift. They're calling it a better.
I like the names, I love the name. The vampire facelift. Uma, we can try that.
It's popularized by, I think, Kim Kardashian. She had something on social media where she showed there was a lot of like blood stain look on her skin, on her face, and she said she was looking for a vampire facelift, and that sort of piqued people's interest. But apparently the newer one is actually instead of platelet-rich plasma, which you actually inject or you spray on the surface of the skin, there's platelet-rich fibrin, which actually holds the growth factors a little bit better. But actually, for me in my clinic, I find that you can actually even go past that, and there are newer procedures, and it's interesting.
Wow.
And I can tell you more about it. Just come to my clinic and let me tell you about it.
Are these treatments available at the Mac Clinic, Doctor?
Oh yeah, that and many more. So like I say, it's always dynamic. Every year, pre-pandemic times, I try to bring at least one new laser into the clinic, a new modality, a new function, a new a treatment where I can fill in the gap to treat patients. I mean, we have got vascular lasers, we've got pigmentation lasers, we've got rejuvenating lasers, we've got fractional lasers. I mean, there's so much available here, and available in Malaysia too. I strive to bring in, what is already available out there globally, and bring it to Malaysia. Malaysians can also experience that and also actually keep up to date. And that's how we've been keeping a pace and abreast with what's been going on around the world. And it's great because then we get better results.
So Uma and Stana, we have to make an appointment with Dr. Hugh very soon. And
I was actually taking notes. That's why I was writing.
We do. I love when you say non-invasive, because that works. That works right well with the way like I speak.
Yeah.
And because that's what it needs to be. I mean, you can actually get your skin refined and taken. I mean, without going under the knife. That's really, really important. And that's always what we're telling our customers as well. There's so much you can do to rejuvenate your skin. I mean, I love that word, to rejuvenate your skin without going under the knife, and because that makes all the difference.
Yeah, doing it in a safe way and contribute, adding value to your skin potential, because the cells and all need to be fed. It's not just you always peeling and doing nasty stuff to the skin, right? Sometimes you do good stuff to the skin, and when you combine that, right, you can get extraordinary results.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. You know why? Because just today, like with us, we speak to, I mean, being in the skincare industry, we speak to a lot of people who try all kinds of things with people who are not qualified to dispense, such procedures and modalities of products.
We often discuss that because between the actual professionals,
God,
the experts,
yes.
and the whole lot of whatever is happening about, right? And
I mean, you go into a professional. I mean, if they walked into you, I mean, that'd be really great. But there's just a lot of people out there with all kinds of things. They're not qualified to dispense that. They're not qualified to say that. They're not qualified to do
you're
that.
right. It's like a little knowledge is a dangerous thing, because they only know a few procedures, for example, and they think that's the best that can be done for a particular person. Whereas when you walk to a place where the person is more professional, they are able to give you more options. They're more up to date with the latest treatments and more up to date with the latest safety techniques. And you're going to end up with a better experience, and probably a better result as well, which you can then go on and do for some years to come, many more years to come.
Absolutely. I mean, I know the procedures you're talking about because my sister, I come from the organic skincare industry, but my sister is actually a medically qualified doctor with an aesthetic background as well. And so we're always having this debate, but we can find that mid ground, because we know what this does and we know what this does, but it's all the in between that we don't agree with. The ones who are neither here nor there.
Dr. Shiv, do you have any kind of offers happening right now? Because I know that you had offers for Hari Raya.
Oh, well, I think the Hari Raya thing is still going on until the end of May. So we actually always have some items where we actually try to encourage people to do. So of course, there's always good offers here and there to take on, or you can just come and we'll see what's right for you, and then you can then go and look and see whether you want to do the procedures. Yeah.
Right. So Stana, I will share Dr. Hugh's contact with you, because I can see you listening so keenly.
Yeah, I find it fascinating. Whatever it is that is about beauty and well-being to our body that is not invasive, I'm pro.
Yeah.
But we already have a fan. That is good.
Yeah.
Dr. Hugh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us.
Okay.
And I should say thank you to Uma and to Stana too. We had a fantastic conversation, on the present. The present is future in terms of women leadership. Dr. Hugh is a huge believer in women leadership himself, because we have such really honest and authentic conversations ourselves, and he's really the gentleman that he is. So Dr.
I've
Hugh,
a lot of conversations with my patients as well as I treat them, and of course, majority of them are women, and they are also women in power. Some of them. And it's very interesting. So I think them sharing experiences also, it goes both ways. We enrich each other's experiences.
Very true.
So it's good. Yeah.
Very true. And I speak from experience, because I know Dr. Hugh now for the last 2 years now. A very fantastic gentleman, and an even more better expert when he's in the clinic. So Stana should make that appointment. Uma can go out and
get rid of.
I'll pay with it as well. I mean, it's very interesting what he says. I mean, like you say, anything non-invasive, and I mean, I'm not getting younger, so there's lots to be done.
I love it. I love the spirit.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Uma. Thank you so much, Stana, and thank you, Dr. Hugh. Thank you for joining us.
It's
been a pleasure.
Thank you for sharing.
Great conversations. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ethel, for having us here. It's been a great conversation.
Most welcome, ladies. Most welcome. Uma, thank you so much.
I had a lovely time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ethel.
Thank you so much.
Good night. Good night. And
good night.
Have a safe.
Good night, all. Good night.
Good night, you guys. Bye.
Bye.
And on that note, such an honest, authentic, beautiful conversation that we had today with Heart to Heart with Ethel Da Costa in association with the Mac Clinic. See us next Sunday with some other very interesting, guests who will join me. Of course, the topic is also very, very interesting, which we will announce shortly, by Monday or by Tuesday. When we normally start promoting the show. Find the show link on my Facebook page. From my Facebook page, the show will be shared on my website, etheldacosta.com, and my YouTube channel, Ethel Da Costa. Have a great evening. Be healthy. Make good choices in life. Stay young at heart. Stay safe, and where we can contribute to the world, let's do it from a space of empowerment. Let's do it from a space for making a difference. Thank you so much for your love and for your support. Have a great night. Good night.